Also in that conference, a team that used to be very dominant, used to be among the elite, trying to get back there, hopeful that Anthony Richardson will get it done as a rookie quarterback. What's up with the Colts and Jonathan Taylor? My understanding is that they're just hoping that things calm down and they stay calm. And it has. We're at day 4 now with no eruptions, no explosions, no missiles fired by Jim Irsay in the direction of Jonathan Taylor, no need for Taylor or his agent to respond. Calm it down, relax, let him get healthy, and hope that he'll realize. And this is inherent to the position. You're in checkmate. There's nothing you can do. You're not happy that you're only getting $4.3 million this year. You deserve more. You can't do anything to force it. You showed up. You didn't hold out. You're strapped into the roller coaster. You may as well enjoy the ride and do the best you can. And if after this year they franchise tag you, so be it. You're in checkmate. You're going to get 10, 11 million. And if they tag you again the next year, you get 20% raise over that. The Colts want to keep him around. They want him on the team long term. But what is long term for a running back? Long term could be this year, next year, the year after. See you later. We'll go draft your replacement. Oh, and by the way, we can't afford to pay you big money now because Anthony Richardson's the centerpiece of the offense. Look at what he's become thanks to having Jonathan Taylor to attract so much attention to allow him to develop his game and have everything slow down. And now he's a superstar. We don't need Jonathan Taylor anymore. That could be the way it plays out.
Certainly. I mean, I think you just asked the most important question. If you're a running back and somebody says that they want to keep you around long term, well, then what does that mean? Is that 3 years? Is that 4 years? Is it realistic to even think that it could be 4 years based on the way the running back position is and the amount of hits that you take? And if you're Jonathan Taylor and you look at that 2021 season where he was dominant, where he really was the best running back in the league, led the league in rushing. I mean, he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And then the Colts had that big collapse at the end of the season, losing to the Raiders and Jaguars. Then you think, okay, well, if I can reach that level of production, that means I'm an elite player, right? Now, last year dealt with the ankle injury and then kind of played with it and then didn't play. And now that affects the numbers. And it's like, oh, well, you weren't really an elite player last year. So, well, that's where we are. It's not a good situation for Jonathan Taylor to be in because it's like he has to go out and kind of prove himself once again, which is not necessarily fair, but it's the kind of nature of that position right now. So I understand Jonathan Taylor's frustration, and especially when you've got the owner of the team kind of mouthing off every time something seems to happen, then you get the reports that something's wrong. You said something's wrong with your back and you say you never said that. It got really publicly ugly very quickly. And when something like that happens, you kind of got to let the waters calm down and let things blow over until you can start to engage again. But if the Colts want him around, then their actions need to start saying that more than their words do, I think.
And this is where you have the disconnect between we love the player's great, he's a key piece of the team, and, oh, wait, this running back market and the way that the franchise tag works. If they would say, okay, let's give him a contract right now. Mm-hmm. And if they would be willing to do it, like what would be the formula? What would be the basis? What would be well, look, we can keep him this year at 4.3. Let's say the tag goes to 11.5 next year. Okay, we would do 11.5 and then we would do a 20% raise over it. I did the math. It's $29.6 million that'll make over the next 3 years if they go year to year. If they would do a long-term deal, what would they do? Guarantee him $29.6 million now? Would he take that? If you put that in front of him, would he take that?
He should.
I don't know. Sims has thrown out the idea that for some of these running backs, when they realize that they're backed into a corner, if you just put something out there that gives them the security and the protection against injury, if you can guarantee Jonathan Taylor right now that he'll make what he would make under the next 3 years if they would tag him in 24 and 25, in addition to what he's due to make this year, maybe he wouldn't say no to that because that's what they can do anyway. That's the problem. Right. What's his alternative? He can't force his way out. He can not play, but then you don't get paid. This is the point that came up a few times this week, Myles, and this is what I don't like about the sport. and about the attitude that the teams have toward the players, they use their love of the game against them. They use the fact that they want to play and compete against them. Because at the end of the day, there's only one way Jonathan Taylor is going to be an NFL running back, and that's with the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes,
and that's
exactly.
It. You
play
make
for
your
me, you don't
4-3
play.
this year.
Yeah.
Right. Make your 4-3 this year. Make your 11 next year. Make a 20% raise the next year. Or maybe we'll give you all of it now, if they'd even be willing to do that. So he's in a tough spot. And I think that the hope is Jim Irsay, take his phone away, let it calm down, and Jonathan Taylor realizes on his own, just like they want Mark Davis to realize they don't need Josh Jacobs, I think the Colts want Jonathan Taylor to realize he's got nothing else that he can do at this point other than play for the Colts and make the best of a situation that you may not consider ideal.
Well, even if you don't guarantee all of that money, right? I mean, you're talking about, something that's a few years down the road. But if you make it guarantees, you're talking about 29 million. What if it's 24 to 25 million that you guarantee and you just kind of lop off a little at the end? Is that something that's attractive because you're guaranteeing it for yourself now, whereas you're not going year to year, right? Because at this point, that's what it's going to be. It would be year to year for Jonathan Taylor. And maybe you get yourself a little bit of a guarantee now that you would not necessarily have if something were to go wrong this year or next year. I don't know if that would be attractive or not. And I don't even know if the Colts would want to do that or not, but that's maybe something where it's a starting point, but it shouldn't be a starting point because like you said, if you look at this year plus next year's tag and then the tag after that, that would ostensibly be the starting point. But if you say, well, we'll give you this now and we'll guarantee you it now, it's kind of what they do with baseball contracts where you avoid the arbitration years. You're saying, well, we're going to give you a little bit more security now so that if something happens, and your performance falls off, then we're not necessarily going to be in the spot where you are saying, well, I deserve X amount of money and we're saying this, and then the court might side with us. It's one of those things that's a little bit uncomfortable, but I think that maybe that's where they could go, where it's something that they could get Jonathan Taylor to agree to and maybe have him feel a little bit better about things going into the season.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.